What's up everyone, Vu of Envu Films, and I am back with another idiotic video for you to watch. The other day, Tony Northrup, 1.37 million subscribers, Tony Northrup, posted a video regarding how 4K failed, how, posting things on YouTube with HD 1080p is fine, which I don't necessarily disagree with. If you're a YouTube content creator, posting things in 1080p is fine because most people probably view their content on their cell phone, and a lot of cell phones only have 1080p. Some Android phones have more than 1080p, about 1440p or so, and it's not quite 4K. So I don't necessarily disagree with him that he says 1080p is just fine, you don't need 4K, but if you have the capability of shooting 4K, you should do so anyway, just as I'm doing now with my Sony Alpha 6600. I didn't really have too much problems with that point he was making. The problem I had was his justification for using 1080 was because his Canon EOSR has the best autofocusing system in the market. Meanwhile, during the whole video, his camera was hunting for focus more often than my mom hunts for sales at the local Chinese supermarket. So, to make my point, I am again shooting on my Alpha 6600 camera, 4K, 24 frames per second with autofocus, and the camera is currently set at f1.4, and to be fair, he was shooting with a 50mm full frame f1.2, which is completely outrageous to be shooting video at f1.2 because his video was terrible. And I'm not making this video to talk badly about Tony Northrup and his channel and what he and Chelsea does. I actually subscribe to his channel and I enjoy their content. So this is not me talking bad. This is kind of me just proving a point here that, one, I think 4K is better than 1080 regardless. So if you have the capability, such as I do, I will shoot 4K. And Sony with 100 megabytes per second actually offers very clean 4K footage, good dynamic range, and a very manageable 100 megabytes per second file size compared to whatever Canon offers at like 400 megabits per second of softness. But beyond that, Sony, and I say this with conviction, has the better auto-focusing system. Again, I need to be fair that he was using a 50mm f1.2 and I'm using a 24mm f1.4 G Master lens on a crop body, which is probably about 35mm at f2.1-ish. So it's not as difficult for the camera to focus, but in my opinion, it is plenty, and I mean plenty, of shallow depth of field for video. And in some cases, if I went really close the way he did, and it's probably too much. I mean, his video at f1.2, his teeth was in focus, and then his mustache and his lips were out of focus. This is the weirdest looking footage. And even me right now, I'm looking at the screen on my Alpha 6600, and this is probably a bit too much shallow depth of field. Okay. If I backed up a little bit, obviously there's less compression and all that stuff. This probably looks a little bit better. Can't really tell from this far off, but you get the point. So, after viewing this footage here of me idiotically walking back and forth like a YouTube douchebag that I am, tell me, am I in focus? Is my camera hunting the way Tony Northrup's camera was hunting with his supposedly best autofocus in the market? And to be fair, no matter what camera you own, if you know how to use it, you will create good content out of it. You'll get good footage out of it. You create amazing work with it, so long as you know what you're doing. And to me, he didn't really do much justice for the Canon autofocus system because he made it look bad. It looked really bad. And I hope that when I post this video up, that I'm proving that Sony can, in fact, track focus while you're walking back and forth, doing your YouTube talk or whatever, and it does it perfectly fine. I'll have to review the footage when I get back to my computer, but that is that. So that being said, if a content creator, YouTuber, lack of a better word, influencer such as Tony Northrup, who has 1.37 million subscribers and one of the top or best-selling photography books of all time, apparently, can post content that is, for the most part, kind of bad, like bad information, false in terms of, you know, what camera manufacturer has the best autofocus. And again, this is not like a camera battle thing. I'm just trying to show you that Canon is not the only quote unquote good enough autofocus system, as I hope this is proving the point here. If Tony could post, I mean, I'm sorry, this sounds mean, but kind of trash content that he did the other day and still get away with it, that gives a lot of hope for small creators such as myself, that I could pretty much post whatever idiotic crap I feel like and still possibly be successful. Of course, he has, you know, at this point, he can't fail, right? They have enough following and subscribership and fans that, hey, he could probably do whatever he wants. I'm still growing, it doesn't matter, but I hope this was valuable to somebody out there and that you found some good information out of this. And yeah, you should definitely shoot 4K if you can. And I understand 4K file sizes are massive in some cameras, but for the Sony system here, 100 megabytes per second, it is crisp, it has great dynamic range, it's very gradable, especially if you shoot HLG3, which is what I'm doing now, and it's a manageable size. 100 megabytes per second, doesn't have to take up too much file space, it's easy to edit, and of course, it is sharp. You could crop in and out, what have you. So that is it. This was not a bashing video. This was not a, you know, trying to be negative or trying to put someone in the spot. I'm just trying to put a different perspective out there. And that should be it, guys. Happy New Year. Till next time, line up.